Hey everyone. Little update. I have received my new charger in the mail, and I will be coming back up probably within a couple of days with some new content, better video quality, better audio quality. Just a couple things I wanted to run over here. I've been thinking a lot lately about the New Age movement and the way that it's progressed and the way that it's changed, and I want to just specifically talk about what I'm calling the New Age, which is basically a fraudulent version of the New Age movement. Um, and in that, what I mean is that there are people out there that will have these conferences, have these books, have these decks of cards or TV shows or radio shows sometimes that their intent is really to try and make money off of you and try and play with um, your need and your want to feel fulfilled in your life. Now, for many people that are just coming into the New Age movement, a lot of what it revolves around is internet shamanism, um, internet psychics, astrology, the zodiac, things like that, and you can very easily be swayed, especially if you're coming out of another organized religion, such as Christianity, Judaism, Islam, something like that, where these religions are highly structured and they have their own hierarchy and they have their rules and they all have their sacred texts. Whereas when you're moving into a New Age movement type of a lifestyle or a faith-based thing, there aren't really, how do I say it, very solidly founded texts. You have a lot of books that are written by a lot of different people, and they all have their own ideas. So you may be wondering, where do I turn, and who can I trust? Um, I would say that in this, um, as you're discerning and as you're coming through um, this new step in your life, if you take the time that's necessary for you to consider what you want out of life and how you feel about the universe and how you feel about consciousness and how you feel about the creator and the earth you stand on, this is where you will find your own little niche. For some people, that is heavily revolving around something known as the Course in Miracles, which I have seen a little bit about. Um, I've also seen some things that sound kind of like a cult a little bit, and I've also seen some things where people just don't feel very honest to me, and that's just me saying it. You know, I'm just a guy on the internet, but I've watched some of these videos and I've watched some of these people that are labeled plastic shaman, and they don't have any real like psychological training and things like that, and they might diagnose you with something or whatever. And for these people, I would say that or people that are looking for these types of things, you have to be really careful about who you talk to and who you can trust. And if you feel that you can trust them by all means. Um, but I would say that because of the amount of people out there that are subscribing to these new ideals and these new ideas about expanding consciousness and about the state of the universe and the state of the human mind and our own souls, you do have these varying degrees of seriousness, I call it. You know, like in the beginning, you have a lot of people who begin to learn about astrology and you begin to learn about the planes of existence and stuff like on spirit science. The channel Spirit Science, it's a great channel. They have a lot of really great stuff. Um, and there are some people that specifically subscribe only to that view. And they look at stuff like the Fibonacci sequence and they see the golden ratio everywhere. And they see that um, the way that the earth has formed and the way that we ourselves operate is not exactly how science would put it. Um, or even that science as a mainstream idea would even agree with. For example, like when we go to sleep, scientists don't really know what we do when we're sleeping. We can test brain waves, we can test this, we can test that, but there is no real test to say for someone who's a remote viewer, or there is no real test for someone who is astral projecting, for example, or there is no test to say that, you know, you're not an old soul, or that you're not an indigo child, or that you're not a crystal child or a rainbow child. These are all terms that are very commonly thrown around in the New Age community. And what I've been noticing recently is that there's a thing called the New Age. That's what I'm calling it anyway. And the New Age is these people that are kind of in conversation, condescendingly saying that people that are just coming in are at a lower level of consciousness, and you need to raise your consciousness, and you need to, you need to come up to my level, and you won't ever understand what I'm understanding because your mind is so small right now. And I've seen these videos about this kind of stuff, and I understand kind of where they're coming from, but the way that it can make other people feel is that they're wrong now, or that they need to look at one person, or one idea, or one ideal, and they need to follow that. For example, um, I've come into contact with some people that self-identify as pagan, and whether that be that they are Wiccan or that they are simply pagan, there are a lot of different views in that. So there are different sections of Wicca. Um, there's Alexandrian Wicca, there's Gardnerian Wicca, kitchen witch, you might call it, or um, aspects of Druidry, aspects of the old world Wicca. Um, and it's just, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And now there's a new one called eclectic Wicca, which basically is a loose format of the old stage of Wicca, where you kind of just do your own thing. And then there are people that are very more traditional, and so they will write their own books of shadows, and they're passed down through family to family to family. So, as with anything, there are a lot of different ways, and I'm not about to say that any one of them is right or wrong. However, I will say this. People that self-identify as a pagan, that's on you, and the way that you choose to practice your lifestyle is on you. Um, Now, if you are a self-identified pagan, and you believe in the different forces, and if you believe in different gods or different powers or different things, then that's fine. That's on you, But what I would say is that, because the ideal in that faith, in a pagan faith, whether that be in Druidry, Wicca, whatever, or in Celtic religion, in Gaelic religion, or in old world Scottish religions, things like this, in pantheism, these ideals don't call for you to try and push your religion on another. It's about self living, finding your way to express yourself and express your faith through your own life, through how you interact with other people and how you interact with the earth. And what I'm finding with these some of these new age people, they might come up to you and be like, "Oh, what's your aura like? Your aura is clouded. Oh, your chakras are out of balance. Oh, I'll do a smudging for you. Or let's create space." And I'm just taking these from some videos that I've seen. They're like making fun of videos. There's one. It's like what new age people say or something. And I've encountered these things. And while the video is very funny and very accurate, um, I think sometimes what's called into question is the sincerity of someone who's saying these things. And do they really believe it, or are they doing it as a fad? And I think for any discerning individual who is looking for someone to follow, or is looking for someone um, to kind of learn from, one major thing that I would say is to spend some time with this person and to see how they live their life. Do they live their life by walking around and saying love and light and peace and love and whatever? And if you do, that's fine. That's not just calling out to say you're a faker. That's just saying, for someone who's just coming into this and you want to be surrounded by other people that share your ideas, it would be a really good idea for you to really take into consideration what you want out of your own life and what you want in your own heart. And if you find that you're very much at home in a Wiccan faith, then practice that. Keep that keep that true to yourself. If you're very much in the way of practicing something more of the Native American side of religion, where the same ideals are there, but it's very earth-based. Earth-based religion can be very powerful. Same as cosmic-based religion is very powerful. But what I find is that there needs to be balance in all things. And if someone is making videos or selling a product to simply make a product, it should be very clear right out in the open. You'll be able to find out who these people are, and you'll find that they are not authentic. And so basically, this new age is a group of people who are inauthentic people in what they say they believe and how they actually believe. So if you encounter someone that has been labeled negatively as a plastic shaman, this might be someone that you maybe don't want to get involved in or involved with, um, because a lot of people will go out there and try and play with your emotions, um, to make a dollar, and there are other people out there that are just wonderful, wonderful people who have very deep connections between the earth and the cosmos. And they have dedicated their lives to keeping these connections whole and to invite you to be with them in consciousness, in spirit. Because as it is said, we are the universe experiencing itself. If you take a few days to let that sink in, you'll understand what I'm talking about if you've never heard that before. I also made a video about indigo children. And in the story of the indigo children, it is said that the indigo children are people who have been on this earth many, many times before. They've lived many different lives. And each time that they live a life, they have a mission. And if they don't complete that mission, then they have to come back again to further the main goal of worldwide consciousness or universe-wide consciousness raising. And while it might seem that that's like a super cool thing to do, I can tell you from experience that the experiences that you find as someone who's out there trying to elevate people's consciousness, your life personally can be in shambles all the time. Specifically speaking, from a shamanic practitioner's perspective, shaman traditionally have experienced a death, whether that's physical, emotional, or spiritual. You experience this death to be reborn in the shaman's body. So your soul is again reborn on this earth for the second time. As it was birthed into this world from your mother's womb, you are now reborn again as a spiritual being inside this world. And your world, your own personal self, is in shambles because of your job is to sacrifice these things in your life to help other people. So before you can understand and really empathize and really experience these troubles that other people are having, you must first experience them yourself, because you can only teach what you know. You can never teach what you don't know. You can only speculate. So for someone that claims to be a shaman or claims to be a shamanic practitioner, these are things that kind of have to happen for them to truly understand and to truly fathom what it means to be in this type of connection, to help you move along through your life. And it's not to say that your teacher is a fake because they didn't die in a hospital room table. It's not what I'm trying to say here. And it also isn't to say that, if you visit someone who's a Reiki practitioner and they don't have incredible visions while they're doing Reiki, or you go to see a card reader or a tarot reader and they don't help you very much, that's not to say that they're fake. That's not to say that they don't know what they're talking about, because many of them do. For example, myself, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and many times when I'm doing a Reiki session, I do receive visions. I do receive these things in dreamlike form, and I can't explain it. It's very interesting, and I have read oracle cards. I've read tarot cards before, and the way that I read is a little bit different than kind of a traditional way that you would read a tarot card. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just coming at it from my perspective. There are some people that I've met that are absolutely brilliant, and they pour their heart and soul into their work, and they deeply help other people. And then there are other people who they're interested in these things, and they want to be a part of these things, and that's great. And then there's the other group of people who claim to be interested in these things and simply play with other people's emotions and say what they want them to hear. These people are the ones that I'm telling you to be careful of, because it's the people that just tell you what you want to hear that are the most dangerous. These are the ones that don't really care about your well-being. They don't really care about anything beyond your money, and they don't really care about elevating your consciousness. So I would say that if you're going to be joining a yoga studio, or you're going to go to a card reader, or if you're going to go have a Reiki session, or if you're even considering a switch in a more new agey kind of a lifestyle or ideal, go for it. Do your research, figure out what's true for you and what's not true for you, and go from there. Also a little introduction, because you've seen her a lot in my videos. This is my dog. Her name is Io, and she's a Shetland Shepherd. She's about a year old now, and I had to give her a haircut. But her breed was originally bred in Scotland for the herding of Shetland sheep. She's about 20-something pounds, decent little size. She likes to kick. She doesn't know she's on camera. But anyway, thank you very much for watching Meep Radio and introducing everybody to my dog EO, who's a sleepy girl.